you guys! So tonight I'm going to be sharing with you the recipe for Pepernoten, which is a Dutch spice cookie that we eat around St. Nicholas Day, St. Nicholas Day is our gift-giving holiday in Holland. We don't have Santa come, we have St. Nicholas come. And he comes on December 6th and brings all the presents for the kids. So we have these cookies that we eat around that time too as part of the celebration. And they're just a little round, they're very small spice cookies, probably most similar to gingerbread or ginger snaps or some kind of little cookie like that. And they're really delicious. So I thought I would share them with you. I was going to do this recipe a little bit closer to the holiday itself, but I'm doing a presentation about it in class tomorrow, and I was going to bake up a batch to share with my classmates. So I thought I'd go ahead and film it now so that you guys can see how it's done. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started, and let's go make some. All right, the first thing I have here is half a cup of butter that I just melted in the microwave, and to it I'm going to add half a cup of just regular sugar. Then I'm going to mix this up really well. Alright, so next we're going to add a bunch of spices. The first one is 1/8 of a teaspoon of cloves. And the next is cinnamon. We're just going to add half a teaspoon of that. Half a teaspoon of that. A quarter of a teaspoon of ground nutmeg. And 1/8 of a teaspoon of allspice. The next thing we're going to add is half a teaspoon of salt. Then we have this. It is anise. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's this flavoring. It's in the same place as the vanilla extract. So we're going to use this and do 1.5 teaspoons of that. One and a half. All right, and then we're going to add 1 egg. Ooh, that was almost bad. And now we're going to mix this all up. Okay, so here is our mixture just all blended up. So we're going to put this aside for a little bit. Okay, now we're going to mix the sticky ingredients. First is honey or light corn syrup, but I'm going to use honey because that's what I have on hand at the moment. And you just need 1/4 cup of that. Alright, there we go. And the next thing is 1/4 cup of molasses. Oh man. There. And then we're going to add just 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Making a mess. There. Alright, so we're just going to mix this sticky mixture up There. And what we're going to do is just pour it right into our spice mixture. All right, here we go. All right, I think that's about as much as we're gonna get. Stir it all up. All right, looks good. All right, the next thing we're adding is 3 1/3 cups of flour. The recipe says it needs to be sifted twice. Now, I don't own any kind of sifting device, and usually when I bake cookies and it says to sift it, I don't. But since it says to do it twice, I'm sort of a little concerned, but I'm just going to go ahead and use my regular flour the way it is, all lumpy. All right, so this is the first 2 cups. And here is the other 1 1/3 cup. All right, so I am just going to mix all this up really well. Okay, so here is my dough. It's all mixed up. It is extremely sticky, and I had to get in there with my hands to get it all mixed together. But that's how it's supposed to be. So there it is. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to spread it all out over this baking sheet. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, so I just flattened out the dough to be about 1/2 inch thick, and then I covered it in plastic wrap, and now I'm going to stick it in the refrigerator overnight so that it can harden, because it is too sticky at this point to make it into the cookies. It is the next morning, and I'm about to bake my cookies. So I have the oven preheating to 350 degrees, and now I'm going to get my dough out of the refrigerator. Alright, so here is my dough. It is definitely cooled and hardened, and I'm just going to take this plastic wrap off. The next thing I'm going to do is just cut it into little thin strips and then across to make little squares. So here are all the little squares, and each one of these is going to be a cookie. So what I'm going to do is take another baking sheet and just line it with some aluminum foil, and then take each of these, just peel it out, there, and just roll it into a little ball, and I'm going to lay them all out on that baking sheet. Okay, so here is the first batch of cookies, and the oven has preheated, so I'm going to go ahead and put them in for about 8 minutes, and then I'm going to check on them and see how they are. So now the first batch is in the oven, and I'm going to continue making these into little balls, because once they soften up, they're going to be sticky all over again. So I'm going to keep on doing that. So here is the first batch. They're looking pretty good. And here are all the ones that I still have to bake. So I'm going to go ahead and
I guess, throw in batch after batch and keep this going all morning.
All right, so here are some finished cookies, and here are the rest of them that I'm taking to school. So anyway, they are delicious. I tried some already. And they're really good. They taste like they have a lot of flavor to them. They've got a lot of spices in them, as you know. So they are very delicious, and I hope you guys enjoyed them.